Namaskaram. I'm Swetha Sankaran, a newly qualified chartered accountant and a Bharatanatyam dancer from Chennai. I'm a disciple of Guru Kalaimamani Srimati Roja Kannan. As an ardent fan of this art form since my childhood days, I have never missed an opportunity to perform or learn Bharatanatyam. But cut to the days when I enrolled myself in the CA course, I was unable to be regular to my dance class. It was a difficult phase for me to manage my studies, my articleship at a Big Four and my dance class all at once. I was unable to sign up myself to the opportunities that came my way. All this created frustration in myself and I felt dejected and left out all the time. It was a very testing time for me, and in this journey, I learned two most important life lessons which helped me come out of the negative phase. The first one being to stop comparing myself to that of others. There is a famous quote which reads, "Comparison is the thief of joy." When one starts comparing, it creates a self-doubt and just takes away all the joy from oneself. So I stopped comparing myself with the success of others during this journey. The second life lesson which I learned was self-acceptance and to be more kind to myself. I stopped cursing me for not being able to manage all at once and accepted myself with both my strengths as well as my weakness. I would like to thank and express my heartfelt gratitude to my Guru Rojaka for always being a well-wisher and guiding light in my tough times. I thank All Up Concepts for making me a part of this wonderful series and helping me share my life experiences with my fellow artists. Thank you. Namaskar.
தாய் தந்தையரே உலகென்றாய், தாய் தந்தையரே உலகென்றாய், மாம்பழம் உண்டு வேலனை வென்று, தாய் தந்தையரே உலகென்றாய்.
Namaskaram. I am Aishwarya Harish, a Bharatanatyam dancer based in Mumbai, India. I am the daughter and disciple of Guru Dr. Jayashree Rajagopalan and disciple of Guru Dr. Padma Subramaniam. I am extremely thankful to Alap for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my exploration and discovery of the holistic harmony of our ancient knowledge systems. Being born into this art form as the fourth generation to carry forward the legacy, music and dance have always been a part of everyday activity. So much so that one never realized when the transformation happened from routine to rigor to ritual to rapture. And as much as I loved dance, I loved history as a subject, which led me to do my graduation and post-graduation in ancient Indian culture and archaeology, along with a master's in dance. The urge and passion for research was always there, but where do I begin was the question. I knew I wanted to do something with my dance, in connection with dance, applying my dance knowledge, but everything seemed interesting. And could someone really dabble in everything? Shouldn't there be focused research? Will my research be useful? Will it be sustainable? Will I be able to do it? There were just so many questions and so many doubts. And I was getting anxious because there was eagerness and enthusiasm, but because of the lack of clarity, therefore the lack of conviction. It was around 2018 when a chance visit to an obscure 1,000-year-old temple within my city showed me the way. Acutely aware of the tradition of the Natya Shastra and the Marga technique because of my guru, Dr. Padma Subramaniam's research work, I was instantly drawn to explore the allied fields of architecture and sculpture through the lens of my dance learning. After looking at those intricately carved figures on the walls, which were refreshingly different than the later temple architecture of this region, I knew this was my calling. I set out to study the sculptures in the temples of Maharashtra, that's Western India, known as the Deccan region, focusing on the time frame between 11th to 13th century temples. The idea was to identify the elements of the Natya Shastra and determine whether there was a classical dance form prevalent in this region during that period. It is an ongoing research, and it has been pleasantly astonishing to find so much continuity and similarity of the Marga technique in several of these structures. The Marga elements that govern these sculptures prove beyond doubt that there would have been a form of classical dance in this region during that period. I presented my research in front of Paduka, and she was so very happy and extremely encouraging of my study. And that was the icing on the cake for me. What more could I have asked for than validation and acceptance of my study from my guru, who is verily a walking encyclopedia. This entire exploration has given me a new medium to express myself. Every panel, every story panel on those temple walls has made me relook and rework on my own interpretation and understanding, my stance, posture, movement, expression, form of presentation. I realize the joy of going back to the roots, connecting the Shastra with the Prayoga, and this entire process seems just so logical and so humbling. in the process of research, I've also had to look at a variety of literature, get familiar with painting and other mediums of visual art, and all of that has enriched my dance in a very beautiful way. I now look at my dance, its form and content, through a wider lens in a more holistic way. I have been pushed to correlate the philosophical underpinnings and the aesthetic nuances between frozen sculpture and the movements of Bharatanatyam. And I realize there's just so much more purpose to my dance now. And I really wish to pass on this urge for exploration and research to my students as well. Thank you.
Takitatam.
Ma pada pada sari sa.
Tat dhim dhim jam takitatai.
Sa da pa ma gari sa.
Tat tadhim tadhim tajam takita.
Ma ma pa pa da da ma pa da ri.
Tat tadhim tadhim tajam takita.
Sa sa da da pa pa ma gari sa.
Tadhimitata.
Pa da sari sa.
Takadhimitatai.
Ma pa da sa da.
Tadhimi.
Ga ma pa da.
Takadhimi.
Sari ga ma.
Takadhimi.
Pa da sari sa. Sari ga sa. Shankaram Sukumara Prayogena Hridyantim Chaiva Parvatim Rechakai Angaharishcha Hridyantam Niksha Shankaram Sukumara Prayogena Hridyantim Chaiva Parvatim Garisa Dasari Gama Pada Sari Garisa Risa Dasa Sada Pada Dava Mapa Dasa Kitakatari Pada Kitakatari Mapa Kitakatari Chandradha Bhushana Jadam Param Vrishabhaketum Kailasa Vardhata Nivasinam Suravarishtam Shailadhirajaganaya Priya Ramadhanadam Murthanedosmi Tripuranadam Paramayoginam I un ril rik e om I ouch haya varatalan nyamangananam jhabaya ghatatash jhabaghatatash kappa chatata chatatau kapaya shasha sahal kapaya shasha sahal kapaya shasha sahal pranatosmi shivam tribhuvana sahitam pranatosmi shivam tribhuvana sahitam pranatosmi shivam tribhuvana sahitam.
Hello everyone, I'm Deepta Seshadri, a Bharatanatyam artist from Bangalore, India, currently based in the US. I think about 5 to 6 years ago, I was at a certain low point in my dancing journey when I questioned if I would ever really be at the place that I'd hoped to be at with respect to my dance. And I was quite disillusioned, you could put it that way. I had a lot of existential questions running through my mind. I think as dancers, as artists, we share so much of ourselves out there in the public space that we're also constantly seeking some sort of external validation, which is of course necessary at times. But I think at other times it can lead to a buildup of pride and ego, which makes it difficult for you to take a step back and really assess where you're at, which is sort of the space I think I found myself in. Luckily for me, that was around the time that I met my teacher, Srimati Indira Kadambi, who right from day one has always emphasized on the importance of going back to your practice, to your sadhana, and focusing on everything that's in your control. Because more often than not, that's where you'll find most of the answers that you're looking for. So at that time, I took a break from performing for an audience, and I spent those years introspecting and improving every aspect of my dance under the watchful eyes of my teacher. And then finally, when I went back on stage, it's of course an ongoing journey, but when I went back on stage, I had found a certain freedom in my movement, and all of that time and effort that I'd put into myself made me regain confidence in my abilities. So for me, even this move away from home, from my comfort zone, away from my teacher and my dance family seemed quite unthinkable, say even a year ago. And of course, I don't mean to paint a rosy picture. There are always ups and downs, and there are days when I question my choices. But I've held on very tightly to the advice of my teacher, and incidentally what my late grandfather always said: do your duty, put in the effort, put in the hard work, because as I like to remind myself from time to time, no one can put in that work for you. And beautifully, it's also one thing that no one can take away from you. The investment of your time, your effort into yourself, no one can take that away from you. So this is my story. Thank you to Akhila Krishnamurthy and to Alap for having me share my story here. I hope this is useful to those who are listening, especially anyone who ever finds themselves in a place of self-doubt. Thank you.
Tum sa hatta chum tarita chum sari jaga tarita channa channa kukun tarita zakun tarita zakun tari kukun tarita ta tari tarita dhanna ta channu ta dhimi ta kita ta kita diku taka digina tum ta chum tari takata taka chum tari takati ta chum tari taka chum tari takun tari kukun tari kita takati ta kirta tari tum kita ta kirta tari tum kita ta kirta tari tum
mani nive nasa mi mani nive nasa mi mani nive nasa mi mani nive.
Namaste, this is Suhasini Muthukrishnan, a Bharatanatyam dancer from Atlanta, USA. Today I am here to share a sweet little experience from one of our travels. Years ago, we embarked on a travel to Alaska, one of the remotest places in US. We were driving from the southern part of Alaska to the northern part of Alaska, quite a few miles, enjoying the Alaskan summer, the tundra vegetation, the glacier beauties, and so on. And while we were driving, we suddenly saw a couple waving at our car, asking for a ride. We shrugged them off and drove past because we were asked to be cautious of such hitchhikers and people asking for a lift. After a few miles, somewhere deep within, we felt that what if the couple wanted some real help or some emergency? So we quickly decided to turn our car back and drove. we still saw them walking along the remote highway. We stopped the car and asked them what exactly the situation was. They explained that their 4x4 truck had broken down, and if I closely remember, they were walking close to 10 miles along the highway, waiting for a car to give them a ride, and they still have another couple of miles to go to reach their home. We asked them to get inside the car, offered them some water and snacks, and were having some sweet little conversations. We were talking about the Alaskan summer, how beautiful it was, and they told that they were native to this part of the Alaska. They were born and raised here, and they were working hard to make their ends meet and make their farmhouse better as a young couple. When we reached the house, they invited us, showed us around the stable, the farms, and insisted we take a payment for the ride, which we humbly refused. We dropped them with a goodbye and continued our journey to our final destination. While we were driving, the thoughts about this bubbly, happy couple and their hard work, the courtesy, the gratitude somehow just filled us with a heartwarming incident. Across the world, across cultures, isn't this as humans we desire? Hard work, courtesy, gratitude, perseverance. So during the days when I have bad days is when I think about the couple and such people whom I have met in my life to pull myself up and make my bad day a better one and a happy one. Thank you. I thank Alap and all my teachers and gurus in Kalakshetra, Dr. Nirmala Nagarajan, Ambika Buch, Professor C.V. Chandrasekhar Sir, Jaya Auntie, and Pushpa teacher, who have not sent me home after rehearsals empty stomach, cause I had to travel 35 kilometers back to my home. So I think as humans of arts, this is what I have learned, and I strongly feel that I need to continue this wonderful value that has been instilled through these people's action. Thank you.
இடது பதம் தூக்கி ஆடும் இடது பதம் தூக்கி ஆடும் நடராஜனுக்கு பழுவாயே இடது பதம் தூக்கி ஆடும் நடராஜனுக்கு
Namaste. This is Sandhya Udupa, a Bharatanatyam dancer from Bengaluru, disciple of Acharya Srimati Indira Kadambi. My sincere thanks to Akila Akka and Alap Concepts for having me for Humans of the Arts. In the midst of challenging phase in my life, I had reluctantly set aside my passion for dance. It was a period marked by uncertainty and doubt, where pursuing my artistic dreams felt like a luxury. However, a turning point arrived when a dear friend of mine invited me to a music concert. Little did I know that this concert would become the catalyst for a profound transformation in my life. The artists poured their hearts into the art, and I was drawn completely to the world of creativity. At that moment, I rediscovered the deep-seated importance of art in my life. I realized that art possesses extraordinary ability to bestow joy not only to the artist but to the entire world. That day, I made a promise to myself. No matter the challenges and the obstacles that life would inevitably throw my way, I will never give up and abandon my passion for dance. Now I am on a journey to spread the boundless joy and inspiration that art brings in. Thank you.
Swami Natha, Swami Natha, Dayave Saiguvai Swami Natha. Tadigu tagadina tum taditachum dana tachum chanu tachum dimi tachum tari tachum dana tachum chanu tachum dimi tachum tari tachum dana tachum chanu tachum dimi tachum tari thana chanu dimi tari tathana tari thana tadina tum tari tathana tari tathana tadina tum tari tathana tari tathana tadina tum Swami Natha Dayave sai chodare adinadache hoyalu chodare adinadache hoyalu sudati se yota jada